away from Australia, it is my pleasure to introduce to the Q101 audience the band Speed. To me, they are the most exciting hardcore band in the game right now. They are heavy, they are fast, they are fantastic. And right before they went out and played in front of a sold-out crowd with Knocked Loose, I talked to Jim right here in the back of the Salt Shed. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy A Case For Speed. Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing? It is Case from Q101. This is A Case For, a show in which I have coerced management into letting me talk to my favorite bands on this channel. In these archives, you'll see interviews with Drain, with Code Orange, with Militarie Gun, with Knocked Loose just last week, and now, once again, we are in the back of the Salt Shed, and it is my pleasure to introduce you, the front man for the most exciting band in hardcore, Jim from Speed. How are you, my friend?
That's a bit of an intro. I'm fucking fantastic, man. Thanks so much, Case, for having me.
I stand by every word I said. Speed to me is at the top of the mountain right now. I think you guys are absolutely wonderful. I am so happy you're on this tour. How's this tour been with Knocked Loose?
Bro, firstly, thank you very much. Those are some huge words, especially as a band coming from Sydney, Australia. We look up to almost all the bands that we rub shoulders with here in America now, so big words. Thank you. This tour, incredible. This is our first time doing like a proper full support tour, our first ever full USA tour, and so for us hardcore band from Sydney, Australia, like beyond the thing of dreams, bro. We were literally playing to the biggest crowds we've ever played to every single night, and everyone's cool. It kind of brings me back to the first time I went to a show. It was a Parkway Drive show. Didn't know too much about hardcore, but there were hardcore bands that opened, and then that day when I was like 12 or 13, it fucked up my life forever because it made me a hardcore kid.
For sure.
I feel like I'm kind of in that position now, being like the band opening for Knocked Loose. So
of course.
It's sick.
No, I mean, I was there when you guys played Chicago for the first time at Sub T last year, and it was like, first of all, that was an event because you guys had been doing West Coast stuff and East Coast stuff, but you hadn't hit the Midwest yet, and we were last, but it was like, oh my God, like Speed's coming to town. Like, you know, this place was sold out fast. Like, we're ready to go. I don't know if you've noticed, a lot more people are going to be out there that were at Sub T, and Sub T was sick. That's hardcore right there. There's nothing wrong with that. But you got 3,000 people out there tonight. What's been the biggest challenge in terms of scaling up? Like, now you're playing shows with barricades. Now you're playing shows with people that don't know you. What's it been like being the opening band on this tour?
Honestly, bro, the cardio, man. Like, that's such a big stage, and we're used to having all our friends and homies and just people from the crowd on stage with us. I barely have to perform. And here, I feel like the spotlight's on me with these big-ass fucking stages. I have to run around. I'm like, my cardio is suffering. So that's the first thing, just trying to make use of the space. But honestly, it's been fun. Like, I think for a long time we've shuddered at the idea of playing with barriers. But it's kind of like a different challenge, I guess, just like how can we get the pit as big as possible? How can we get the whole vibe as violent and as aggressive as possible, even though there's like a distance between us and the front row? But I feel like for most of these shows, we get on, and most of the crowd is like kind of curious, and then by the end, they're about it. I feel at least, so it's been really gratifying.
So talk to me right now, because you're about a half hour from going on stage. I'm taking up a lot of your time. What's going through your head? Like, you got 3,500 people out there. How do you mentally prepare for a show this big?
Just do the same shit I always do, bro.
Yeah.
Which is just go up and go hard as fuck. No matter what stage that looks like, if there's a barrier, if it's like a 20 cap room, 200 cap room, or 4,000 cap room, just go hard as fuck and just bring the energy. And honestly, bro, at this stage, I don't even really think about it. This tour especially being so long, like the longest tour Speed's ever done before this was 10 shows in a row, like 2 weeks. Right now, we're on a 12-week run. And so we're like maybe almost 4 weeks in. So I feel pretty seasoned. And at the end of the day, it's hardcore. So, like, whatever happens, just happens. It's just, you know, what you see is what you get.
For sure. Talk to me about the new record. First of all, I heard it. Not to brag, I heard the new Speed record before it's out. It's so good. I mean, it's so good. But this is the first time that I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but it's the first new Speed release since maybe post Sound and Fury, when I felt like you guys really took off in America, What's it like dealing with the weight of expectations now? Because I think objectively, you guys are at a different point as a band than the last time you put out music. Whether it's financially or creatively, people are expecting things from you now. Was that at all hard to navigate when you were writing this new album?
Honestly, that's a sick question, bro, because we never, ever, ever saw this band to live beyond a 7-inch, okay? And obviously, everything took a crazy turn beyond our wildest dreams a couple years ago. And so we were given this insane opportunity where we can do an LP. And to be honest, for the longest time too, I kind of didn't really believe in the hardcore LP for us because it's kind of hard to keep people's attention for like 10 songs with hardcore music. But really, if I'm going to be fully honest, like with everything up till now, I feel like the band is in this position where we just have this insane amount of hype. And I really think that the hype supersedes the substance, bro. Like, I feel that the internet and just whatever has just blown shit out of proportion and whatever. And I'm very humble. And sorry, I'm very humbled by it. But this LP was like our opportunity just to put everything on the table and really try and improve ourselves. So we just tried to do everything that we've already done, harder, better, more aggressive, more fun, more bouncy, just everything. And I feel in my heart that we achieved that. So that's just what it is, and I think whatever happens from here is just is meant to be.
So we're talking about a month and a half before the record comes out. Now, obviously, this interview will live forever, and it will be out by the time some people hear this. But for the people watching on day one, what's the thing on the new album you're most excited for people to hear? Whether it's a breakdown or a riff or an entire song, what's the thing that you're like, oh man, we really cooked with this one? Like, I can't wait for the world. They are going to be awe-stricken by what they heard.
You know, man, like, I think if you like the style of Speed, right, which we do, which is, to me, I don't think it's anything new sonically. You know, our influences have been around for many years, and there's many bands that are kind of doing a very similar thing. But spiritually, I think is the spirit of Speed is what we have to offer, right? And we just try to conceptualize that and try to capture all of that into the music. So I'm just excited for the feeling that people get from it, and I hope that people understand where we're coming from with the message, because at the end of the day, bro, we're literally just 5 hardcore kids from Sydney, Australia, who have a great friendship circle, and that friendship circle is the whole thing that's brought us here today. It's brought us more passion with the music, and we've just tried to give back to our community, our friends, everyone watching through the music. And so I hope people get that from it, because yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be mosh music. It's going to be mosh anthems front and back. But at the end of the day, this shit's just for us, by us. It's for our friends back at home in Sydney. It's for everyone who gives a shit. And if you like it, it's for you.
What is it about hardcore that creates these strong bonds? Because you guys obviously talk about that with the lead single on the record, but like, I don't know, it's something different. Like, if I hear a guy now in Chicago is like, oh, he saw so-and-so, he's into hardcore, I'm like, I immediately like that guy. Like, I just want to create a connection with him. There's a different brotherhood here that it might exist in other genres, but I don't care about other genres as much. So what is it about hardcore that just creates this bond with people?
I mean, I think that if you know, you know, but hardcore is a genre, a subculture that has a lot of, it warrants a lot more participation from the average participant, for lack of a better word, you know. And I think that because of the style being so, it is a style that also kind of inhibits you as soon if you understand it. And I think that people get a lot of tribalism out of and ownership out of this kind of subgenre. It kind of like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking violent, it's aggressive, it's emotional, and it ticks all of those boxes in a way I think that it just supersedes kind of most other genres. I'm not going to say that it doesn't exist elsewhere, but especially because the accessibility to hardcore is pretty low. Anyone can pick up an instrument, anyone can mosh, anyone can do the thing. So when you feel that you can contribute to like a little community in a very significant way, I think that gives a lot of power to the individual. And when you're on a journey like that with your friends, it just builds something that's really strong. And at least for us, now I'm 31, but I went to my first show when I was 12. All the people that I love in my life in some way come from hardcore. Like, literally 99% of people other than blood, even the ones that I do have blood, they're all involved in this circle in somehow, in some way. And especially coming out of the pandemic, when we had a lot of time to reflect on like what's most important in our lives, bro, if you strip everything away from me, all I have is my family and friends. And when that comes from this kind of same place, I think that means something, you know? So especially being at this age now too, I see a lot of people who are involved in music, other kind of worlds, other genres, and sometimes even in hardcore too, who are like, I just feel it's a shame when I see they don't get it. They don't get music for the reasons that I do, which is just the connection and the relationships I've got from it, you know? It's okay if you're in it for like, if you want to do it for like the clout or the fame or whatever kind of shit like that, that's on you, that's fine. But for me and for us, all we've ever known through music is like this bond. We played in bands for so fucking long, bro. Like, there's no money in this shit. There was no, we were in debt for the last 15 years of our lives just trying to tour and play. And that didn't mean shit because it was all the experiences and the memories that we made. So now hardcore is going through this crazy thing, and I think people can see the story of Speed and they might be like, yo, you've done some crazy shit, and like you've met some like, you've played some crazy stages and played with crazy bands and all in a really short space of time. But bro, we were in bands for so many years that never even left Australia or never even got the chance to even come here, man. So this is a crazy time, and all I can say like is that we've done it for the right reasons, and for some reason the energy is coming back to us. And I just hope that anyone who looks at like the model of what Speed's doing or the story, that they can see that it's really just about the people that are involved. You know what I mean? That's it.
That's beautiful. That's really well said. 2 questions before you go, because I know you got to go play a show.
No rush. I'm chilling.
One real quick. Who told you, and how did you find out you were playing shows with Have Heart this summer?
Bro, that was the craziest FaceTime of my whole life. I got literally a FaceTime from Pat Flynn.
My dream, because I've never been able to interview Fiddlehead, and Pat Flynn's my hero. So congratulations on that.
He's one of my heroes too, straight up. I had the honor of meeting him like a couple of years ago, and we've hung out a couple times since. And anyways, I got this FaceTime from him, and it was just like, bro, we have Hearts playing shows again in a few months. We want to fly Speed over to play. This is the most insane phone call of my life. So literally just direct from the source.
Fantastic. I'm so excited for those shows. Congratulations on being on those.
Me too. It's insane. One of the first shows I ever played where I literally worked at a youth center, my local youth center, I worked there. We didn't have hardcore shows. I just worked there in the hope of putting on a show that my band could play. This is when I was like 13, 14. And for some reason, Have Heart we didn't know this at the time, but it ended up being their last Australian tour in 2009. And for some reason, the All Ages City show was booked at this venue. So my band, who had like a demo that we recorded in like whatever, our first ever band played with Have Heart. We opened for Have Heart in like 2009.
No way.
Fully. And now, like, they're flying us over to play with them in Boston and New York. Like, that is beyond anything I ever fucking thought was possible in my fucking lifetime. So thank you, everybody who's made this possible. And thank you, Pat. Thank you, Have Heart, for the respect.
All right, before you go, let's come back to this tour real quick. I asked Brian from Knock Loose the same question, because I think we're witnessing it in the moment, but as time goes on, I think this tour is going to age really well. I think people are going to look at this as a really important tour in the history of heavy music. So when you're an old man and you're on your rocking chair and you got your grandkid here and you're bouncing him on his knee, what's the memory you have from this tour that you're going to tell your future generations?
Well, I mean, to be fair, we're only halfway through, so I don't want to jump the gun, but the memory that I would tell. Shit, man. You really put me on the spot with this one.
If it makes you feel any better, Brian from Knock Loose had the same exact reaction. I stumped him with that.
I mean, bro, there's so many memories. That's the thing. And there's one thing about me, I don't know if you could tell from this interview, but I like to talk a lot of shit.
I love it.
So it can't really reduce it just to one thing. I don't know. I'd probably say, fuck. Man. Bro, this is so hard. Honestly, I think just in general, the memory of just, as corny or cheesy as it sounds, bro, we're literally a hardcore man. This music that we wrote is meant to be played for like 100, 200 people, and we're here every fucking night playing like 2,000 to 5,000 people, man. And the pits are going crazy. We're getting a mad reception. I don't know another Australian hardcore band that's ever had the opportunity to come out here, bro, and play shows like this. You know, like, this is not something that we're saying that like, oh, look at us, we're like the first Australian hardcore band to do things like this. Like, not at all. This is like something that deep down in my heart that we take as a win for our whole community and our whole scene back at home. Like, when we come over here, when we came and did Sound and Fury the first time, bro, we felt like we were coming to the Olympics, you know, because it was like a win for everyone back at home, and we had our whole friends and family behind us on our backs, and I feel that to this day, especially on this tour too. So really, like, the stories that I tell my kid is just that, like, we did this shit because we fucking love it. We did this shit with no expectation of return other than just the friendships and the feeling. And now we're out here just fucking, I'm 31. I never thought that I would quit my job to play in a fucking hardcore band from Australia. We're out here doing it. I have no idea what the rest of the year is going to look like for us. I have no idea if we're going to be able to pay our bills or whatever. But I do know that when I'm an old man, if I make it that far, I'm just going to have the best memories of my life and great friends behind my back. That's it.
I love it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. This has been a Case 4 on Q101. If you liked this interview, and I hope you did, I'm on Instagram @_Case Lowe, CaseLowe. And like I said, the A Case 4 archives, Drain, Code Orange, Militarie Gun, Knocked Loose, a bunch more every Monday on this YouTube channel. Man, thank you so much. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Case. And last, I want to shout out Chicago Hardcore, shout out Hold My Own, shout out Karma, shout out Bugging, shout out CMI, Conservative Military Image, shout out motherfucking Harms Away. Respect to you all from Speed, from Australia.
Fuck I'm talking about. Thanks, man. Thank you, man.